Hello and welcome. Thank you for being here and investing your time in improving your English and yourself. There was a time when I opened an English grammar book and my heart suddenly felt heavy, as if I was about to enter a battle that I already knew I would lose. Just seeing words like past perfect or future continuous made my head spin and my eyes slowly close because I felt sleepy. I used to believe that maybe I did not have the talent to learn a foreign language, that English was for other people and I would always stay outside. That feeling was not laziness, it was helplessness. What scared me the most was not vocabulary, but the long rules that I did not understand why I had to learn. When I was at school, teachers only taught us how to remember formulas, as if grammar was a math problem that we had to memorize step by step. I filled my notebooks with complex structures, and before exams, I tried to memorize everything. I could get correct answers in the test, but inside, I did not really understand what I had written. A few weeks after the exam, everything disappeared as if it had never existed. Every time I forgot, I told myself that maybe I was not smart enough. This repeated feeling of failure slowly made me lose confidence, and grammar became an enemy that I just wanted to avoid. I once thought no one could be happy while studying grammar until one afternoon in the library. That day, I was sitting in front of a middle-aged man, and strangely, he was smiling while studying. I looked at him and saw that he was writing very simple English sentences in his notebook. There were no long formulas, only daily sentences like he was telling a story. I bravely asked him why he looked so interested. He smiled and said that he did not study rules first, he played with grammar by using examples and real stories from his life. He said each structure was like a small tool, and a tool is only interesting when we use it to create something meaningful. His words sounded normal, but at that moment it felt like a door opening for me. That night, I did not open my old grammar book full of formulas, but I took a blank piece of paper. I wrote simple sentences about my life, about the things I do every day. I wake up at 6, I brush my teeth, I drink coffee and check my phone. I read them out loud slowly, as if I was telling my own story. For the first time, I felt that the present simple tense was not a concept, but my daily life written in English. I did not try to remember definitions, I only observed how the sentences were formed, and strangely, I did not feel sleepy anymore. The next day, I tried something different. I told the story of the previous day in the past tense. I woke up at 6. I brushed my teeth. I felt tired, but I went to work. I realized that by changing the verb a little, the whole story moved to another time. I talked to myself in English and even laughed because I sounded a bit awkward. I watched videos with subtitles, paused them, and repeated each sentence while trying to feel the emotion inside. The past simple was no longer a formula, it was a way to tell a story about a day that had already passed. Before, every mistake made me feel embarrassed, but now I started to see them differently. Every time I used a wrong verb, I asked myself why instead of blaming myself. I saw each mistake as a small teacher that came to show me something I did not understand clearly. I set very small goals, only one grammar point, one example, one short story each day. Some days I only learned how to use one preposition correctly, and that was enough. I stopped forcing myself to understand everything in 1 week. This slow way of learning actually helped me go much further. After a few months, I started to notice that I used tenses more naturally without thinking too much. I could talk about my plans for tomorrow without searching in my head for the right structure. After 1 year, grammar was no longer a high wall, but a set of tools in my hands. I was not perfect, but I was confident enough to express my thoughts. That feeling was completely different from just getting a correct answer in a test. It was the feeling of controlling the language in my own way. There was a time when I had to learn about parts of speech, and if I had used the old method, I probably would have quit. Instead of memorizing nouns, adjectives, and adverbs in a dry way, I created funny sentences. Wow, the red dog jumped on the table and barked loudly. I looked at each word in the sentence and checked which one was a noun, which one was an adjective, and which one was an adverb. Because the sentence sounded a little silly, I remembered it for a long time. I understood that parts of speech are not for memorizing, but for understanding the role of each word in a bigger picture. If you are afraid of grammar like I was, I just want to tell you one honest thing. You do not need to understand every tense in 1 month. Start with your present life and write about today. Then tell the story of yesterday. After that, try to talk about your plans for tomorrow. Small steps like this will make tenses less abstract. They become different ways to tell the story of your life. I used to be someone who was so afraid of grammar that I wanted to avoid it whenever I heard about it. I used to think that I would never learn English properly. But simple sentences, small mistakes, and daily effort changed everything. If a shy and unconfident person like me could turn grammar into a tool, you can do it too. You do not need to be perfect. You only need to be curious. You do not need to be fast. You only need to be consistent. 1 sentence a day, 1 example, 1 small point. And one day, you will realize that grammar is no longer an enemy standing in front of you. It becomes a superpower that helps you say what you think, tell your story, and step into the world with a confidence that you didn't have before. If you find this video interesting and helpful, please give me a like and subscribe.